Radio, you don't want to be traveling down I-95 or especially Phillips Highway right now. Palencia, good call,
and
Corey Simma.
Nocatee.
Palencia and Nocatee are in particular in line for this possible tornado. There is a very distinct circulation now, side-by-side rotation here. It's like this counterclockwise. These dark colors are moving away from the radar. These brighter colors are moving toward the radar. This will cross Highway 1 in minutes. And remember, during a tornado, you stay in the lowest part of the building that you are in. Do not get into an automobile. Get out of mobile homes. Protect your head and face, staying away from windows. Use anything that you have around the house, blankets, pillows to protect your face. And then this will continue northeastbound. Let's track it. Corey, going northeast, I would say at a solid 45, 50 miles per hour.
This is passing just east of Beacon Lake, the new neighborhood.
On 210.
Off of 210, south of Beach Walk. And then this is headed up toward Nocatee. This will be to the north of Palencia, very near Nocatee. Yeah, Mike, these are moving very quickly,
very
40
fast.
to 50.
He's got to go northeast near 50 miles per hour. You don't have much time to act. This looks to be a possible tornado on the ground. Let's check out First Alert Storm Analyst, also Corey. Let's see what we might get there with rotational velocities. You can see it is now moving right across Highway 1 in just a brand new update in the last few seconds. So Hilden now, Nocatee at 533. Even if there's not a tornado on the ground, you may get a burst of wind, 60 to 70 miles per hour. Baptist Health there at 534. TPC Sawgrass at 541. And Ponte Vedra at 544. It also looks like there is a second circulation to the north of that, Corey, which we've seen multiple circulations within this line, but there may be another one there to the north of Nocatee too.
Yeah, I'm actually going to time that out, Mike, because that one looks the
suspicious as well.
Same level of intensity, or maybe even a little more.
Exactly. So into Palm Valley at 533, Ponte Vedra at 537, Seabreeze Elementary School neighborhood at about 539. Jack's Beach at 541, and St. Johns River Hospital neighborhood also at about 541. These will be fast-moving tornadoes, difficult to see, and locally very damaging. The band itself is producing tremendous rainfall and 50 to 60 miles per hour. You will think that Debbie arrived at your doorstep if you're within one of these bands in St. Johns and Duval County. This one near and just east of Durban is particularly concerning right now. And Corey just used the word very suspicious. On the right-hand side, we're now using First Alert Storm Analyst. We've got a lot of tools at our disposal in the First Alert Weather Center, and people that can use them, which is great, too. So, Corey, nice job here as we now look at the rotational velocities here on the right side, and that's literally the rotation of a storm, and that's what a tornado is, right? It's rotating, it's circulating. It's like pulling the plug on the bathtub or the sink, and you see that water start to swirl and go around. Well, that's kind of what's happening within these storm cells, and there are two distinct locations here in St. Johns, soon to be into Duval County here, located near and just east of Durban. We're now looking at the debris tracker. It is difficult with tropical tornadoes in particular for the debris tracker to, in general, in my experience, to pick up debris, but it doesn't look like there's a lot there from a debris standpoint at this point. Corey, would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Okay, so now we're back to velocities, and we have multiple circulations, two in particular. This has just crossed Phillips Highway now and is just to the east of Durban, moving through the heart of Nocatee now. It may not be a tornado on the ground, but even if it's not, this is darn strong winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour, may see gusts 70 miles per hour, followed by a second, what appears to be intensifying and tightening circulation to its immediate north, which would be a little north of Nocatee. Corey?
Yeah, we're going to go back to First Alert Doppler HD, Mike. The National Weather Service has chimed in mentioning these two circulations that we have been tracking now for about the last 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, it's a pair of circulations.
What's NWS seem to think about it? Did they just mention it's two circulations? They didn't have much else to say about it?
That's it. I'll give it another look here. It's moving quickly northeast towards Palm Valley, Ponte Vedra Beach. We have already mentioned those spots. Lifting through Nocatee now and potentially up toward Jacksonville Beach as well. So, yeah, Ponte Vedra, Jacksonville Beach, you're in this tornado warning. These potential circulations or potential tornadoes, these are tracking up toward your neighborhood. So you need to be seeking shelter now, an interior closet or bathroom away from windows. You want to get as many walls in between you and the outside of your house as you can. Ideally, a house, a mobile home is not a good place to be. And a day like today, it's not a bad idea to maybe have a plan to go somewhere else if a tornado does threaten. So these are moving very quickly. And when we track these tropical potential tornadoes or circulations, sometimes the radar data can be behind. So when we're looking at the circulations now, they're probably a little farther to the north and northeast than what we're actually seeing right here on First Alert Doppler HD. So we have the tornado warning until 6. The first circulation is closer to Ponte Vedra and Jacksonville Beach, and it's very near TPC Sawgrass right now. Ponte Vedra proper, 537, Seabreeze Elementary School at 540, Jacks Beach at 541, Neptune Beach then at 543, and then we head down the line back closer to Nocatee, and we have that second circulation. These are north of US 1. So right off the top, we were shouting out Palencia, Beacon Lake. It looks like you all are in the clear, at least for right now. You're still in the tornado warning, and even World Golf Village, you are included in this tornado warning, but the threat area is far to the north of you, east and north of I-95 and east and north of Highway 301, Mike.
And right now is a good time, or sometime this evening, to download your free First Alert weather app. You'll get the updates immediately, as we're seeing here, and I'm seeing on my phone. And we also have Ben Nelson on the radar, the National Weather Service, heck of a meteorologist, working radar and issuing this tornado warning and tracking this right along with us. So good work there, as is usually the case. Looks like that circulation is over the north part of Nocatee, maybe a little, very near, maybe a little west of 20 Mile, Corey. I believe, headed northeast. This is circulation number 1, arguably, the southern circulation at least, headed into Palm Valley at 540, TPC Sawgrass at 542, and Ponte Vedra then at 544. These are fast-moving circulations, sudden burst of winds at the very least, but possibly
Roscoe
a tornado
Road.
sitting right on Nocatee Parkway, slightly east of Valley Ridge Boulevard. Let's see, you have the subdivisions, the different subdivisions right in here in Nocatee are some of those newer ones, the lakes. Subdivisions would be in the vicinity of this tornado right now. This would be just slightly north and northwest of the Nocatee big shopping area there, the town center of Nocatee. And then this is that second circulation. It's crossing Roscoe Boulevard now, headed toward TPC Sawgrass. Pretty strong outbound velocities. In other words, from north to south there, Corey. Not that strong the other direction, but with a tropical system like we've been talking about a lot of times in tropically induced tornadoes, you don't get the classic signature necessarily.
Yeah, if you had been with us, folks, whenever we track tornadoes here on Action News Jax, we look for the green, we look for the red, we look for those to be bright and right next to each other. And we don't usually get that with tropical systems. It is a different setup. It doesn't mean you can't get a tornado. Whenever we look for tropical systems, whenever you start to see the gray or the darker coloring, even though it's still kind of green, this is where circulations develop and where we could potentially have tornadoes. Right now, it looks like we have the one circulation that is lifting to the north of Nocatee, the circulation farther to the north. Mike, at least to me, it looks like it has spread out a little bit.
Yep.
The National Weather Service has still extended the tornado warning. You see the red lines here that are flashing. I'm going to zoom out the picture, and yeah, so they've narrowed the tornado warning a little bit, but it still does include Jacksonville Beach, and it looks to me essentially all the way up to Mayport. So Mayport, Jacksonville's beaches, down to Ponte Vedra, the circulation in question, the potentially most dangerous part of the storm now, it has cleared Nocatee.
Right.
If you're in Nocatee, you're good. You've been watching this with us, and you can come out of your safe place. Everything's good. But Ponte Vedra, this is where, if a tornado forms, it is going to be near Roscoe, Ponte Vedra,
Jacks Beach,
up to the county line, and then Jacksonville Beach, Mike.
In fact, let's show the Jacks Beach First Alert Skycam. I believe we have that still looking toward the south from the previous tornado warning. And let's take a look at that. If we can pop it up real quickly here. Jack's Beach First Alert Skycam Network right now looking toward the that's looking toward the pier. Boy, it's raining.
Torrential rain.
Yeah, torrential rain, likely wind. Corey is now panning the camera to take a look to the south. So that's to the east, out over the ocean, obviously. You can see the very rough seas and surface.
It's going to be hard to see anything.
It's going to be hard to see. You're right. I hear you, Corey. But at least we have a view toward the south from which the tornado would be moving, if there is one. I also have a report from Catherine in Nocatee, raining very heavily. No surprise there. I also have a report from Trey on Twitter, or some like to call it X, that he's reporting no wind of any great consequence in 20 Mile, where he's located. Those are helpful, good reports. These are, if they are bursts of winds and or tornadoes, they would be on a small scale, although the band itself is likely producing winds of 50+ miles per hour within it. And I still am a little curious about the southern end of that line, Corey, which sits to the immediate north of Nocatee in the southern portion of our tornado warning here. That would be just on the Duval, St. Johns County line, which is very near the north edge there of Nocatee. Remember, parts of Nocatee actually go into Duval County. And so then we'll continue to the northeast. Let's go ahead and track the southern end of that. I feel like would be worth our time here, Corey. We also have a notch there on A1A, but that's that second circulation, so it's not surprising. But the southern end of that line will work its way north-northeastbound. Again, they're racing north-northeast, 45 to 50 miles per hour into or near 20 Mile at 540 would be right now. And again, I just got that report a few minutes ago that it doesn't look too bad there at the moment anyway. Palm Valley at 544, TPC Sawgrass at 547, and Ponte Vedra at about 549.
We just got new radar data, Mike. I'm going to bump this up.
Okay, good.
So,
yep, good idea. Because see how fast it's moving? So now that circulation is, as Corey had alluded to earlier, well north of Nocatee. Now into Palm Valley, 542, TPC Sawgrass, 545, Ponte Vedra at 547, South Beach Park and Sunshine Playground neighborhood at about 552. If we put the winds on here, Corey, and we have seen a lightning strike every once in a while. We have not had many lightning strikes. I only point that out because that sometimes can indicate a really intense line of storms or a cell, especially in a tropical system. And Corey, that's concerning now, near and north of Ponte Vedra. That appears to be a new circulation, or perhaps one of the early ones, tightening up a little bit, right?
So Ponte Vedra Beach, now we're talking the intersection of JTB and A1A.
Right. Yep, right here.
That may be one of the best circulations I've seen this afternoon.
This could be a tornado on the ground.
This could be a tornado.
Yep.
I'm gonna switch to the debris tracker.
We got.
They're these little spots here and there.
It's hard to know if that's good data, right?
Hard to know for sure. Let me get back on Storm Analyst.
Could be in its infancy. Yeah, I was just going to say, First Alert Storm Analyst might help us on this a little bit. So Corey's going back to the other computer. This is going to be very near A1A and Butler Boulevard, moving north-northeast 50 miles per hour. A lot of people in this area, of course, a lot of homes, a lot of businesses, too, on either side of Butler Boulevard here in Ponte Vedra. Marsh Landing would be another spot you'd want to look out for. First Alert Storm Analyst, Corey's going to pop that up right now. What are you seeing?
There's a bloom in the rotational velocity right there, Mike.
Yeah,
just south of JTB and A1A.
Yeah.
There's a lot of friction right when we get to the beach. So the boundary between the ocean, which is right here, and then the land, the wind can be doing crazy things. It can slow down. It can speed up. And this is a little concerning if you live just south of JTB. The orange line right here, that's JTB, and then the orange line going up and down is A1A. So I need some more streets on here, but this is
you're going to have
Marlin Avenue,
A1A, Roscoe Boulevard,
Solano Road,
Butler Boulevard, the businesses, and homes
east of Marsh Landing.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have confirmation of a tornado at this time. It's a pretty good looking signature.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service now mentioning tightening on A1A, Duval St. Johns County line, taking cover if you live in these coastal communities. Would not be surprised if this is a tornado on the ground, and if not, it is likely very high winds at the very least.
We're running out of time here. There's not a lot of land left.
Right, good point.
But there are still plenty of homes north of, in fact, the rotation is maybe moving offshore right now.
Which makes it a water spout.
This is north and northeast of the Ponte Vedra Inn and Club. We We do not have a view from our Jacksonville Beach First Alert Skycam network. It is shrouded in rain. I don't remember if we have a view from the DOT, First Alert Traffic Camera Network, all the way out to A1A. It'd be difficult to see even in that torrential rain.
Right. First Alert weather team chiming in here. Corey Garrett has actually put his drone up on this cell. When the circulation was passing west of his house, he did not see a lowering, although the clouds were racing to the north. Trevor is very near the couplet. Gusty winds and extremely heavy rain, but no obvious tornado, Trevor's reporting. Maritza's out at dinner. No surprise there, but Maritza reports she didn't see a whole lot in the vicinity of where she was in St. Johns County. But
okay,
this
is interesting.
This
is interesting. The circulation maybe has jumped. Okay, so when we talk about hurricanes, tropical storms, areas of low pressure, you know, it's not always a straight line. Sometimes tornadoes are. Sometimes hurricanes are. Sometimes they can kind of bounce around and jump around. So we had the circulation very near A1A and JTB, which is down here. It looks like the circulation has maybe reformed more to the north near Jacksonville Beach.
Which makes let's take a look at that Skycam, Corey, looking south on Jack's Beach First Alert Skycam network. And you make a really good point on how these can jump around, and especially a tropical system, and also the friction when you get close to the water. We saw this with a tornado a few years ago in St. Johns County as well, and that one occurred just south of Ponte Vedra Beach in the vicinity of Michler's Landing, and that one tightened up just as it moved toward the coast. So, Corey, this is looking south on Jack's Beach, and as you mentioned earlier, the visibility's poor. It's already pouring here. You're not, if there's a tornado here, we're not going to see it until it's essentially moving overhead, more than likely, or at least not very far away, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. The tornado warning continues for 14 more minutes. The areas of circulation, the potential tornado, if there is one, it's basically right at the coast.
Right.
What we're tracking from Ponte Vedra to Jacksonville Beach, the potential area of concern now is kind of shifted up to Jack's Beach between JTB and Beach Boulevard, where we have a little bit of red mixed in here and then the green. So I'm actually going to push in a little tighter, Mike, and
yeah,
we'll
go ahead
get some
with that.
of
I'm going to check out
the roads on here.
The First Alert Storm Analyst, so you keep working there, Corey, and we want to keep an eye on our Skycam there because this will move essentially right over our Skycam.
Ocean Drive South, 16th Avenue South. This is essentially along and east of A1A. Out to the coast, the tornado warning has been continued by the National Weather Service. Essentially, you know, they're going to let it go until 6 o'clock unless they warrant it needs to be extended or expired before that. Action News Jack's Megan Moriarty
Hey, Corey.
getting pounded with rain in Jacksonville Beach.
Corey, take a look at CCs. Go to First Alert Storm Analyst. And this is back just a couple minutes ago. And then I'm going to move it forward. Hard to know that that's a true debris signature, but not out of the question, right?
Yeah, there's just...
It's a little messy.
Whenever there are individual pixels, yeah, that's...
It's a little messy. It's maybe indecisive with a tropical system like this.
And sometimes what you're looking at on a radar, it's bad information. It's bad data.
You can have bad pixels, exactly.
You can have bad pixels, yeah.
Now, we still do, all the way down on that line, Corey, have other circulations apparently trying to still fire in the southern part of that tornado warning there, on that edge of where you see that gradient, yeah, where your finger is there.
That's, yeah, basically where they were earlier.
You're right. Seems to be the redevelopment of a few circulations here. This is First Alert Storm Analyst now. So let's go here on the wall here. You can see this is the leading edge. This is the heavy rain on the left side. Now we've moved to First Alert Doppler HD and the wind tracker. This is the velocities. And it's that leading edge right along where you see that sharp gradient there. That's where we're concerned about the possibility of circulations and a tornado developing and moving quickly to the north and to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. And you probably put First Alert Storm Analyst on the most recent scan, didn't you, just now, Corey, right? Okay, so we'll go back to First Alert Storm Analyst, and what it's probably going to show you is that those are mainly near the coast. Yeah, exactly. And moving offshore, which is good news because we would most likely have maybe a water spout at this point, and the tornado warning will be allowed to expire at least at 6 o'clock, if not perhaps discontinued a little earlier. Because it would appear that the danger now is moving offshore. Having said that, it is still pouring from Atlantic Beach to Neptune Beach to Jax Beach to Ponte Vedra Beach here, but it would appear that the circulations are largely moving offshore now and over the next couple of minutes, Corey, which bodes well for the waterspout and/or tornado threat. It would now be mostly a waterspout threat.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to First Alert Doppler HD, Mike. The tornado warning continues until 6. That's 11 minutes from now. I got to get the view back up here to Jacksonville Beach. Yeah, there may be a waterspout that forms. If you are able to safely take pictures and video, we've gotten some reports down from Nocatee, even up into Nassau County, of some of the flooding. If you're able to safely get video or pictures, whatever it is, we would love to see it. You can email us, weather@actionnewsjax.com. Find Mike or myself on Twitter/X. Use the hashtag FirstAlertWX. That's short for weather. And, okay, so Ben Nelson, Mike,
yeah.
The tornado warning will be allowed to expire at 6 p.m. Sounds like they're just going to let it go.
Let it ride, right?
For the next 10 minutes. You know, it looks like most of the threat area is pushing out over the ocean. There could be some, back building isn't the right word or phrase, but we could see that circulation kind of jump around like it did. This is the latest velocity scan, the newest radar data. Oh, they expired the tornado warning.
Okay, so there we go.
The tornado warning has essentially been canceled.
And so one other thing here, Corey, I've gotten a few reports from around multiple reports actually from around Nocatee and Ponte Vedra. Here's one from Twitter. I'm on Ponte Vedra Circle. All is okay. A lot of heavy rain. So no reports of damage in the Ponte Vedra Circle area. I mentioned the flooding in Bryceville. I've tweeted out those images. It looks pretty significant. Would not be surprised if additional flood advisories and/or warnings are issued eastward into Duval and Nassau County, and then eventually much of southeastern Florida. So to wrap this particular part of our weather forecast up, there are now no longer any tornado warnings in effect. There still are some individual cells racing to the north here through eastern Putnam, western St. Johns County that could produce a quick funnel cloud or tornado and start to rotate with little or no advance notice, so we'll keep you up to date. In the meantime, these bands of very heavy rain continue to move through Duval County with 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, ponding of water, localized tree damage, and some flooding. All this is working its way into southeast Georgia, where tremendous rains are going to fall tonight. Waycross, Blackshear, Nahunta, Brunswick, Woodbine, that is our viewing area. We will cover it extensively, but you need to take proper action in southeast Georgia if you live in a flood-prone area. For Nassau County, you too are in some very heavy rain. Corey's going to take that a little bit to the south here so we can see it. Nassau County's in the very heavy rain. You're going to have a lot of additional rainfall. That includes Fernandina Beach. The center of Debbie is now moving into Baker County with extreme rainfall through southern Charlton, northern Baker. This will move across virtually all of Nassau County. So Hilliard, Callahan, Yulee, Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, you all need to be worried and concerned or up to date on the latest flood advisories and warnings that might be issued, especially if you do live in a flood-prone area, as the center of Debbie continues to move east-northeast between about 6 and 8 miles per hour. So all tornado warnings now expired. Tornado watch remains in effect. That means conditions are favorable. We'll keep you updated, of course, literally minute by minute, and we'll go to street-level mapping the next time we see you to show you some of this heaviest rain and in the bands, the flooding that's occurring. In the meantime, we go back to the news desk to Ben and Tanika.
All right, Mike and Corey. Well, right now, let's take a live look at the Jags Stadium. You can see a lot of rain on the lens there. Today's training camp, of course, was impacted by Debbie. Action Sports' Jack Stewart Weber spoke to head coach Doug Peterson about how that team managed to work around the storm.
Many folks in Northeast Florida had to make adjustments with the weather that Debbie brought to our local area, and that includes the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had to close practices both on Sunday and Monday to the public, and on Monday they brought things indoors. Remember, this Jaguars team consists of many players not from Northeast Florida or the state of Florida who are used to what to do when a tropical system comes through your area. For the Jags, it's all about safety.
We spent some time, explaining to them that we live in Florida and the weather can change, in a minute. And I think it's for everybody, even some of the new coaches that are on staff that haven't been, a part of these storms. And, we want to make sure safety first, obviously, and make sure that we either come here safely or get home safely, and if we got to adjust, we adjust.
It'll be back to business as usual on Wednesday. Fans back inside the Miller Electric Center as the Jaguars prepare for preseason game number 1 this Saturday at home at Everbank Stadium. For now, inside the Miller Electric Center, Stuart Weber, Action Sports Jax.
Tonight, a family's mourning after a teenager was killed when a tree came crashing down because of Debbie. This happened in Levy County, where Debbie was passing over the area this morning. Investigators say they believe the 13-year-old was sleeping when a tree fell on the mobile home, crushing the 13-year-old in bed. The Levy County Sheriff responded to the scene personally to express his condolences to the family.
His grandparents were in other rooms and in the mobile home, and it barely missed, I know it barely missed the grandfather. This is a 13-year-old.
Now, we're told the grandparents were in the other rooms. As the sheriff mentioned, it barely missed the grandfather. The storm has already taken 2 lives in Dixie County and 1 in Hillsborough.
A family's home in Cocoa Beach was turned over because of winds from Debbie. Action News Jax Melanie Holt spoke with that family.
We decided to go to Publix, which we're blessed that we didn't cook at home. It would have been a disaster. Running gas during this would have been terrible.
When Josie Romine and Joshua Dylan Fulmer returned to Cocoa Sunrise Palms RV Park, this is what they found. Their RV flipped over. An elderly man living in a neighboring RV was here at the time the storm blew through. He was injured when his Coleman RV flipped onto his truck. We're told he's still in the hospital.
Just following God's timing and taking it day by day. That's all I can do right now.
This morning, a county official told us the National Weather Service is aware of all of this damage and is analyzing photos of the damage and corresponding radar imagery to determine the cause of what happened here. At least 4 RVs were damaged in this park.